I'm Dr. Toby, and I want to talk to you a little bit about what is attention. Attention is one of those hard to define ideas in research, but ultimately, when we really look at attention, it's what possesses the mind, what pulls our senses into focus. Attention is a bit of a selection, but it's more than just selection. As I'm talking about this, I'm also going along with Wayne Wu's paper on attention and norms, an opinionated review of recent work. I want to try to take the academicness out of this and make it a lot more interesting to listen to. Ultimately, what we're paying attention to is what is driving our action decision. That's kind of the way that it ultimately works. So I do performance psychology, and a lot of performance psychology is the science of attention. How do we direct it? How do we put it where we want it, and how do we make it effective for us? So one of the things that bumps into attention is bias, and bias plays a role both in what we choose to pay attention to as part of our action decision. It also changes how we interpret what it is we're seeing. A West Coast person will see the mornings differently on the East Coast, and an East Coast person out on the West Coast would see the mornings differently as well. Their perspective of what sunrises are affected by their location. That creates a bias. So I don't know why I said that. Hopefully it helps for something. So bias basically is a way of interpreting things. I'm not saying like that you're a good or bad person. I'm not saying that kind of bias. But there's a lot of source that comes into play there. And in this paper by Dr. Wu, one of the things that he brings up is that there's aspects of your environment. There's what's been going on recently in your life and in the immediate situation. What your perception is of the outcome and the value of that outcome. What you anticipate happening, what you anticipate your abilities are, past events, past experiences, and kind of how you associate that with everything that goes on in your life. And so that's a big chunk that comes into play when you're trying to say, do I act or not act, or do I go this way or that way? I'm going to give you a part 2 later on.